We have a lot of green beans from our garden, so we're going to show you how to can them today.
I'm going to be using the method out of the Ball Blue Book. I just finished picking these with my kids, and now I need to start by preparing them for the canning jars. Preparing the beans is a really great job to do with kids. Okay guys, so what we need to do is we need to snap off the ends, both the top and the bottom, and then break them into bite-sized pieces and put them into the pink bowl, and the yucky ends will go into that bowl. Let's see how fast we can do this. While everyone else is preparing the beans, I'm going to start by preparing my canning jars. These canning jars were recently washed through the dishwasher, but when you're doing your canning jars, particularly with pressure canning, you want to make sure you're using specifically made canning jars. Please don't use mayonnaise jars or anything, even though you can fit a canning ring on it. Please don't use those for the pressure canner because oftentimes they will break under the pressure. So the next step is we need to inspect these to make sure that they have no nicks or chips on them, and you're just going to run your hand around the top and make sure they feel perfectly smooth. And if they don't and they have a nick or a little chip in it, that's okay. You know what? We can use those for crafts and other projects. Just set that aside. You might want to mark the jar with a permanent marker so you don't use it again. These feel fine. Wow, look at how speedy you guys work.
With all hands on deck, it doesn't take too long.
We're almost done. This canning jar had a nick in it, so my husband helped turn it into a overhead light for me over my sink. Kids are almost done with the snapping and preparing of the beans, so I'm going to start boiling some water. We're going to wash the beans now before we put them in the canning jars. I'm going to drain these and start filling up my canning jars. Now we're going to put 1 teaspoon of salt inside of each canning jar. If you have a funnel, you can use a funnel to put the green beans in it, but I found it's just as easy to use my hands. So we're going to take our hands and start filling up the jars. Once it gets to the top like that, we have to shake it down because there's still a lot of room in here. Make sure that we pack this with 1 inch of head space. So we're going to go right up to this bottom line. You can see we've got a little bit more room there, and we're going to shake it down again and make sure it's really well packed.
Now we're pouring the boiling water into the canning jars.
And again, we need to remember about that head space at the top, right there. Now we're going to just gently tap the jars on the counter to remove any air bubbles. You can see this one has a big air bubble here, so we need to get those out. Not hard, just a gentle tap should remove most of those air bubbles. Remember, this water is hot. If you're not comfortable with tapping your glass jars, you can also just use a knife and run the knife along the outside of the jar to help remove the bubbles. We're going to wipe down the tops of all of the canning jars to remove any water and salt or debris from putting the beans in there. After you put the lids on, you're going to tighten them down with just a canning ring. Now we're going to place them inside of our pressure canner. We're going to add 4 cups of water to our pressure canner before closing it up. However, every canner is a little bit different, so please make sure you follow your manufacturer's directions for your pressure canner. Our pressure canner is a Muro with a weight. For green beans, you're going to use 10 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes for quarts or 20 minutes for pints. Our 10 minutes of steaming's up. Now it's time to start the pressure. We can't start counting the pressure though until this control starts jiggling. Alright, it's up to pressure, so now we're going to turn it down.
Let's turn it down. Just needs to jiggle a little bit, doesn't need to jiggle all the time. That's probably good for now. And as the time goes on, you gradually turn it down a little bit more and more.
It's been 25 minutes, and I'm just going to leave this on the stove for a while until the pressure has diminished, and then we'll pull them out and see how they came out. And make sure all the pressure is down. And then I'm going to pop this lid. And when you open these, always make sure you open them away from you, not towards you, because there's going to be a lot of steam in there. If you want, you can actually leave the jars right in the canner overnight and then remove them in the morning after they've cooled down. After these have cooled down, you'll want to check the seal to make sure that all of the jars are sealed before you store them, and you'll want to let them rest for 12 to 24 hours before putting them in your pantry. And there you have it. Beautiful canned green beans that are really easy to put together. And your kids can help you. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to our channel for more food vlogs and large family living. Thanks for watching.